Vanakkam. Corona. This morning by 3 a.m., one of my brothers, Advocate Ram Shankar, who practices in New Delhi Supreme Court, called me. Early that time, with so much of anxiety, he exclaimed, "Anna, I have finally returned from Delhi. It is a horrifying experience there. Myself and my wife have finally escaped Delhi and returned home. It is an open graveyard. There are cadavers everywhere, inside the house and on the road. There is a hell cry all around. There are long queues in the graveyards, and it takes 20 hours to cremate a cadaver. I am relieved that I have escaped from hell." This is how he narrates his experience of the horror of Delhi. Now the same has spread across the nation. There is this only one man who is behind all this horror, Mr. Modi. Sage Thiruvallur recounts in Kodungonmai, tyranny, Nadarum Nadi Muraisaiya Mannavan, Nadarum Nadukedum. It says the country in which the ruler does not evaluate into the wrongdoings and establish justice on a daily basis will get ruined day by day. Death of a common man here has become so cheap. We see a juggernaut of deaths everywhere. Corona will go away if you clap. Corona will go away if you say, "Go Corona." Corona will go away if you light a lamp. Corona will go away with a breathing exercise. These are the messages that a responsible administrator like our Prime Minister has given us. This is how they passed the first wave of the corona. That too, Modi and his team of ministers proclaimed their own victory. Thiruvallur recounts, "Pazhudennum Mantriyin Pakkatudal Tevvor 70 kodi urum," which means far better a 70 crore of enemies for a ruler than a minister at his side who intends his ruin. This is what Mr. Modi and his colleagues have done. The first wave was over. But experts did warn that there will be a second wave from December 2020, but we never listened. We are one of the few countries that found a vaccine for the corona. Our regular capacity was to produce 18 crores of vaccine a month. If you calculate the time period between December and till date, we have produced a minimum of 90 crore vaccines, approximately. And we would have saved at least 90% of the population. In contrast, the only wish was to project himself as a global leader, to get applause from world nations. A major share of our vaccine produced was exported to other countries, favoring the corporate sector. Now we are experiencing the effect of such an act of not using the vaccine for ourselves. Our people are dying in clusters. They knew the harmful effect of corona very clearly. Yet the reason for not acting is comparable to the attack of Ghajini Muhammad on various regions. Likewise, here they are perturbed by West Bengal. Their only aim is to defeat the single woman, Mamata Banerjee. In this despair, they forget corona. On the other hand, Kumbh Mela. Even after knowing the effect of corona, our Prime Minister wishes for Kumbh Mela and welcomes lakhs of people to this event. They say people travelled to this event in a number of trains. On the other extreme, here in Tamil Nadu, they wish to capture the state with the help of their two slaves. They easily had forgone corona. In one of the election rallies in West Bengal, Prime Minister proudly says, "I have never witnessed such a mass gathering in my lifetime, that too in lakhs." Wouldn't he have even that basic sense that such a gathering will be a free and a super spreader of this disease? With a selfish agenda for his wish to stand tall in the global arena, he gave away a major share of our vaccine produced to world countries. If you see the Western world, the UK, where the second wave is believed to have begun, have successfully overcome it. The USA has almost nullified the effect. Australia has denounced masks and nation has declared itself a mask-free country. Here in India, the advice is to wear masks within our homes, while even driving alone in a car, even while talking to our spouse. If you venture outside, the police force treats you worse than a murderer for not wearing masks. Like they say, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. We should have utilized these vaccines we had. Instead of saving our lives with our own vaccine produced, now they have dropped the ball in our court. Each state is asked to manage its own corona troubles. Today, we speak of an incident. An 80-year-old Narayan Tabatkar, who gave his own hospital bed to a 40-year-old critical young patient. This old person claimed that he has lived his life fully and he wanted to give that medical support to that younger patient who was critical. He left a home, leaving that bed, and passed away within the next couple of days. Who should be ashamed of such a scenario? While the intent to while away the time with a singular tool named Hindutva, isn't this a great insult to them? Even if you see the situation through their own Hindutva lens, there is no avenue even to perform the last rites of a person on their demise. Likewise, here in my circles, there is an incident in the family of my friend named Mutturaj. His father-in-law was serving as a manager in Indian Bank. They diagnosed COVID-19 only by morning and he departs the world by evening. Initially, Mutturaj had called me for help, and because there was no news later from him, I called him back to find out the scenario. And he says that his father-in-law passed away yesterday. I was shocked and asked him, what he expired is it? He replied, yes, only myself, my wife, my mother-in-law and our son were there. We cremated him quickly and we returned to our place. See how cheap a man's death has become. He adds, out of concern, please don't plan to come home to pay homage. We had left to Bangalore. Do you see how people will die when there is a wrong government? The same world media, for which media gave away the most of our vaccine produced, and to project himself a global champion. The same world media to which Mr. Modi claimed his thumping victory against the pandemic is now spitting on the face, taking a jibe on him, as they say in the local Madras slang, Kalvi Utrang. He seems to be least bothered and now had procured a private plane costing approximately 8,400 plus crores for his use. It is told that they have leased out 5 other jet planes to refuel his costly plane on mid-air. I am only reminded of King Nero, who fiddled while his nation Rome was burnt to ashes during the Great Fire. Even the Western superpowers have not tried this autocracy. Spending on an 8,000 plus crore budget on an airplane and 900 plus crores budget for the Central Vista project to rebuild the parliament. Similar to AIIMS Madurai, a stone laying ceremony for Ramar temple is held. Prime Minister Modi wishes to while the time only with Hindutva. This is Mr. Modi. Coming back to Tamil Nadu, the two slaves here, EPS and OPS. They are only a provisional government, an interim government. They have announced Sunday lockdown to control corona spread. Everything is brought to a standstill. Surprisingly, the next day morning, they make a set of new announcements, effective 4 a.m. that day. Wedding ceremonies are restricted to 50 people. Death rituals are restricted to 25 people. Saloons are to be shut. Shops and establishments with 3,000 square feet or more are to be shut. Shut all the shops by 9 p.m. Masks are mandatory. They made a huge list. My intent here is not to oppose. Of course, these are for our safety. But isn't it the basic responsibility of our rulers to clearly state how long this will go? Till now, they have not clarified the timelines. They have left people at their own peril. Similar to Mr. Modi, who dropped the ball in our court, the state government here has claimed itself helpless and left us in our peril. Here are our people who are shrinking the bodies out of fear and left with anxiety of death. The Guardian newspaper has rightly published this. The system has collapsed. India's descent into COVID hell. Vanakkam.
Subscribe to Nakkheeran Neo, 32 years of unpersevered investigative journalism, now reaching out to the global audience. Hit the bell button for immediate alerts.